করে দাও ওটাকে। ওকে, তাহলে স্যার স্টার্ট করছি।
হ্যাঁ করো।
Okay. Very good morning to all of you, our respected teacher and my beloved classmates. Our today's topics is green chemistry and electronic waste management, represented by me and my friend Onis. We try to represent it in charmful manner, so keep patience for the last. So let's proceed. At first, we see at a glance what we will discuss in this particular session. Number one, green chemistry, introduction, brief idea, goals of green chemistry. Number two, benefits and advantage of green chemistry. Number three, efficiency parameter. Those topics are discussed by me, and the rest topics, that is e-waste management, is discussed by Onis. So next, so now we enter our core topic, that is green chemistry. When we will discuss any topic or learn anything on any field, at first we try to understand what is these things. We will go forward slowly, that is including in these things what is the purpose of these things, and at last we all try to find the benefits of those particular topic, and eventually we discuss all these things one by one, and I personally try to help you to enhance your knowledge on green chemistry. So as per our serial, what is our first topics? Yes, this is what is green chemistry. Sustainable and green chemistry is very simple terms in just different way of thinking about how chemistry and the chemical engineering can be done. People and the plan of finding creative and innovative ways to reduce waste, conserve energy, and discover replacement of hazardous substance. Green chemistry can also be defined through the use of matrix. While the unfilled sets of matrix has not been established, many of ways to quantify green process and products have been processed. This matrix includes one of the mass, energy, hazardous substance, and the reduction or elimination of life cycle environmental impacts. So next is, so our next topic is motivation. The goals of green chemistry is the design of products and manufacturing process to reduce their impacts on human health and the environment. Green chemistry also refers the applications of minimization principles to eliminate negative environmental impacts of chemical and chemical process. So next, now we just cramming the 12 principles of green chemistry. Firstly, preventing waste, maximizing atom economy. Then next, design less hazardous chemical synthesis, design safer chemicals and products using safer solvents, increasing energy efficiency, using renewable feedstocks, avoiding chemical derivatives, using catalyst and non-stereometric reagent, design chemical and products that degrades after use, analyze the real time to prevent pollution, and last, minimizing the potential for accidents. So next is goals of green chemistry. Green chemistry aims to design and produce cost competitive chemical products and process that attains the highest level of the pollution, prevents hierarchy of reducing pollutant and its source. Chemicals that are less hazardous to human health and the environment are less toxic to organism, reducing the amount of hazardous substance, pollutant, or contaminant entering our waste streams or otherwise released into the our environment prior to recycling, retreatment, or disposal. Reduce the hazards to public health and the environment associated with our release to such substance, pollutant, or contaminant. Those all things are written here in point wise, so everyone can able to go through these things very easily. So next is benefits of green chemistry. This is most important as per my opinion. I try to discuss in three parts. Firstly, human health. So the subtopic is about air, the cleaning of air or reduce the air pollution. These things. Less including the sub points. Less release the hazardous chemicals to air, leading to less damage to lungs. Then another sub point is cleaning the water. About water, the cleaning water or reduce the water pollution. This less release of hazardous chemicals waste to water, leading to cleaner drinking and the reaction of water. Then increasing safety for workers in the chemical industry, safer consumer products of all types, safer and the safer foods. I don't cramming all these things from here. It consumes, it consumes so much time. So any of one who can interested about these things, they can go through this in details. So next, I firstly say that I try to discuss in I try to discuss in the three stage. I try to discuss in the three stage of benefits. Secondly is environment. Firstly, I discussed already the human health, and secondly, I discussed the environment. Plants and animals, including environment, plants and animals offers less harm from toxic chemicals in the environment, lower potential for global warming, ozone depletion, and the smoke formation, less chemical depletion of ecosystems. And thirdly, I add these things, the economy and business allow replacement of the purchased feedstocks by the waste product, better performance that less product is needed to achieve the some functions, reduce the manufacturing plant size of footprint through increase the through output. So next, I already discussed in three parts of benefits. Then our efficiency parameter. Here we see some efficiency parameter: atom economy, reaction selectivity, reaction yield, conversion factor, and environmental load factor. We can easily compute those types of factor by using particular formula. I think this is not too much troublesome for ourselves. One can easily determine it by using this written formula. So we can proceed further. So next is waste to chemicals. At first, we have to know what is waste to chemicals. So waste to chemicals refers to transforming waste and reduce the energy, fuels, and other useful valuable materials. Then we focus on principles, prevention, creating a waste stream that is also valuable feedstock, prevents waste from entering the environment, maximizing resource efficiency. Depletion, the finite resource can be minimized by using waste as a feedstocks from new chemicals. And at last, design system holistically and using life cycle thing. So next, then we go through few examples. Here we see two examples are there. Livolinic acid from cellulose. The all things are written in here, and the other things is biomass to acid, ketones, and alcohols. Then the all things are written in details here. You can go through it very easily, but I don't go through it right now. So next, Here we see the endangered elements. We see from the periodic tables, the endangered element are marked here by 3 colors. Which element marked as yellow? Those elements are limited availability and future risks to supply. As example, lithium, magnesium, boron. Which element marked as orange? Those elements are rising threats from increased use. The use as example, osmium, uranium, etc. And at last, which is marked as red in color, those are in serious threats in the next 100 years. As example, zinc, helium, silver, etc. So next is how do endangered and critical elements relate to our green chemistry. The unique properties of the rare earth element are the basic of multitudes of routine, daily use products, and irreplaceable components is exiting and the emerging green energy technologies. Focus the following two principles. At first, use the renewable feedstocks, and the secondly, maximizing resource efficiency. So the next, from research to practice, firstly computer chips to manufacturing computer chips, many chemicals, large amount of water and the energy are required. But now there are so many scientists are try to develop the process by using superficial carbon dioxide, and they also try to reduce the dependency on chemicals, energy and water. You all know these things. Medicine, then secondly medicine. The pharmaceutical industry is continually seeking ways to develop medicines with less harmful side effect and using process that produce less toxic waste. Then next, we continue our discussion in research to practice in different field, that is biodegradable plastics. Several companies have been working to develop plastics that are made from renewable and biodegradable sources. We are all aware of these things. And the second and the last things, our last research and practice examples are print, oil-based alkali print, or given of the large amounts of volatile organic compounds. These volatile compounds evaporate from the paint as it dries and cures, and many have one or more environmental impacts. So last, I thank you for your attention. This is all about from my sides. The rest part of the representation is discussed by Anish. So over to Anish.
Thank you, Shayan, for leading us till here. So after knowing about green chemistry, there may be thoughts wandering in your head. Being a student of electronics, how will green chemistry help us, or rather, be fruitful in this domain? So here comes electronic waste management. What is e-waste? E-waste is any electrical or electronic equipment that has been discarded. This includes working and broken items that are thrown in the garbage or donated to a charity reseller. E-waste is particularly dangerous due to toxic chemicals that naturally leach from the metals inside when buried. So in the next slide, we see the variants of electronic waste. So first and foremost, we have home appliances that include electric cookers, heaters, fans, then communication and information devices like cell phones, tablets, landlines, monitors. Then we have home entertainment devices like DVD, Blu-ray players, stereos. For electronic utilities, we have chargers, television sets, remotes, lamps. For office equipment, audio video equipment, and medical equipment, we have dialysis machine, imaging equipment, defibrillator, etc. Next, we have some visual illustration of e-waste, which we must have seen quite often in our regular garbage dumps or in our homes too. Now we come to the statistical part of the electronic waste management. This graph shows us the highest e-waste producing countries, with China leading the group with 7.2 kg per capita. Then we have USA with 6.3 kg per capita. Then we have Japan with 2.1, and last but not the least, India with 2.0. Other e-waste producing countries include Germany, Brazil, Russia, France, Indonesia, and Italy. Also, the next graph will display the type of e-waste, starting with metals, then pollutants, PCBs, CRTs and LCDs, cables, metal and plastics, and others. So now we come to the interesting part where we see how your damaged CPUs, televisions, keyboards, mobiles are recycled. As a first step, we have pickup of e-waste and unloading them at a recycle plant. Waste electronic products are picked up from any company's office and dropped at a recycle plant. Then the product is passed through mechanical dedusting, where the picked up product are mechanically cleaned and dedusted to remove any unwanted particles. Next, we segregate the e-wastes according to the category, which may be according to the type of the health status of the device. Then we have complete data destruction, where the electronic device is completely destructed of data using wiping, degaussing, and shredding. Then the device is passed through deassembling of IT asset. IT assets like laptops, television sets, CPUs are deassembled for still working parts so they can be recycled or refurbished. Then cable stripping, where the electronic wires and cables are stripped using special machines. The wires and metal parts are then rebuilt, the PCBs are shredded, and the printers are de-inked to prevent any sort of problem that may cause to the costly instruments in the form. Then the materials are processed and are transported to a material specific recycler. In the next slide, we see about circular economy of electronics and e-waste. So in a circular economy, the intention is to produce no waste or pollution. Instead, products, parts, and materials are used, cared for, repaired, reused, and recycled as much as possible. With a circular economy, we can drive the optimization of resources and reduce the consumption of raw materials and recover waste by recycling or giving it a second life as a new product. The above illustration quite clearly shows us how a material is sent to the parts manufacturer and then the products and then to the products manufacturer and finally to the users. When the product wears out, it's either repaired or sent to the production house to get it refurbished, or the parts to the recycling form, and the loop continues until the material can no longer be reused or recycled. At that state, it is sent to the collection house where it is destroyed by waste we learned from the previous slide. Now I present to you some e-waste processing firms that are based in India and have earned their name. From assessing the needs of the event, recommending zero waste friendly and compostable wares to setting up and manning the entire infrastructure for waste disposal, we have Scrap, who does it all. Namo e-waste, a Samsung initiative, collects disposed e-waste, treats it and turns it into usable items. They also aim to provide green alternatives to electronic waste by supporting policy changes and making sure India becomes zero waste. GEM Environment Management, founded in 2013, collects polythene terephthalate, a kind of hard, lightweight plastic used in containers from factories, offices, hotels, and institutes, and recycles them into products such as t-shirts, caps, and bags. Now we see some chemical materials that can be a boon to the society if not handled with care. Selenium. Exposure of high selenium to human bodies causes selenosis, which can cause hair loss, nail brittleness, neurological abnormalities. Selenium is generally found in products like photocells, light meters, and solar cells. Beryllium can cause lung cancer and chronic beryllium disease. Symptoms of chronic beryllium disease include breathing difficulty, chest pain, coughing. Beryllium is generally found in manufacture of telecommunication infrastructure equipment, computers, and cellular phones. Polyvinyl chloride (PVC) is the most used plastic found in everyday electronics. When it is burned, it produces large quantities of hydrogen chloride, which reacts with water to form hydrochloric acid, which on inhalation causes respiratory problems. It is generally included in the coatings of computer cables and wires. Lead can cause brain damage, nervous system damage, blood disorder, and is rarely found in computers, keyboards, mobiles, smoke alarms, and remote controls. Cadmium. Long-term exposure of cadmium can cause kidney damage and damage to bone density, protective coating on metals. We generally find them. PCBs. Toxic effects of PCBs include immune suppression, liver damage, cancer promotion, reproductive damage, and behavioral changes. These are widely used in resistors, transformers, and capacitors. Now we come to the conclusion. E-waste recycling is necessary, but it should be conducted in a safe and standardized manner. The acceptable risk thresholds for hazardous secondary e-waste substances should not be different for developing and developed countries. However, the acceptable thresholds should be different for children and adults, given the physical differences and pronounced vulnerabilities of children. Improving striving for the eradication of child labor is non-negotiable. For bibliography, we have sciencedirect.com. We have collected our resources from Science Direct, then Royal Society of Chemistry, Environmental Protection Agency, last but not the least, American Chemical Society, and Wikipedia. Thank you.
Very good.